The Film Slash Crew review Johnny English. It's like James Bond had a baby with Mr. Bean.
And it looked exactly like Mr.
Hey team, Angus Jacket here, and welcome to the Film Slash Podcast. I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Kane Diggly Widdly, Dog, and Bro Diddly Doo, Roadman.
And also Franklin.
Our intern, Franklin, our intern. How are you, mate?
Bloody great.
Good. Can you close the door behind you?
Fuck's sake. Yeah.
Thank you.
From the other side.
No.
This week we're reviewing Johnny English. Strikes again.
Yep,
Johnny English
strikes again.
Let's start off with that IMDb summary. Kane Dogs, hit us up.
After a cyber attack reveals the identity of all the active undercover agents in Britain, Johnny
all
English...
of them?
Yep, all of them.
My
Johnny
God.
English is forced to come out of retirement to find the mastermind hacker.
Wasn't he forced to get into retirement in the last one?
You know, I can't remember.
I can't remember the
I
last
could
one.
not remember either of the previous ones. I remember them going through a sewer in one of them. I think it was the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I can remember from the last
And the
Johnny
line,
English films.
calm down, Boff, it's only a bit of poo.
I cannot remember.
I don't remember that. I remember him mooning the Queen.
I remember really
yeah.
enjoying
Yeah.
the first one, and that is it.
Yeah.
I remember enjoying the first one when it came out as an 11-year-old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say, were we 11?
Yeah, about that.
When did the first one come out?
2003? 2003, I think.
2003, so we
And
weren't
then-
even 11.
2003.
We were like 9.
Yeah.
And then
So
the
we were 9.
second one was
2011. Johnny English
2003,
Reborn.
2011, 2018. Is that enough time between Johnny English movies?
I think it's not long enough, Angus.
I think it's too much. Because this is now a trilogy, and none of them have any interactivity between any of the other ones.
This is true.
This one should have been called Johnny English 2, the third one.
Let's get straight into it. When did you see the movie? What'd you think?
When did you see the movie? What did you think? Do you like the movie? None of the shit.
Birdman.
I saw it about 4 days ago, and I thought it was pretty forgettable, a bit meh, a bit whatever. Wasn't excited for it. I wasn't excited for the second one, and I wasn't excited for the third one, and we've seen it.
And we won't be excited for the fourth one, I guess.
No,
Inevitably, there will be one. Kane Dogs. When did you see the movie? What'd you think?
I saw it Friday with the GF. She had a great time with the movie. She's very fond of the others. She loves a good Rowan Atkinson, and she's got some nostalgia towards the first one, I feel. I don't have nostalgia towards any of them. And I do like Ron Atkinson, but I like him in the heyday. I've got some nostalgia towards Blackadder and some nostalgia towards Mr. Bean, but nothing towards Johnny English. And I thought this film was fine for the demographic it's aimed at, which is 9-year-olds.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with this film in terms of it being aimed at that age group. I think the mistake it's made, though, is that I would argue that this film should have, instead of continuously being aimed at that age, should have grown up with the generation, with the audience.
I don't think that's Rowan Atkinson's type of humour per se. Though.
I think it could have gotten smarter. I think it could have been a bit smarter than the humour we got. A lot of the jokes in this I thought were super predictable and very... I didn't find any of them that funny. I didn't really laugh in this film.
if you've seen the trailer, then you've seen the film.
I was quite bored. This felt like watching a child's movie that I have no nostalgia or care zero about.
Yeah.
That's what this was to me. So I didn't have a good time. Don't think it was a bad movie. Take your kid to it, but not me.
Angus, what do you think?
You're not taking your kid to it?
You're not taking me to it?
I'm not. No. No. What's up? What are you doing there, Angus?
Nothing. I'm just jotting down a note that, you know, you're neglecting your kid and soon it'll be in my custody, so...
Yay!
We didn't tell him. You're not the
Yeah, no, I know.
you're not the godparent anymore.
It's Franklin, isn't it? Fucking Franklin.
I hate him. I hate the living hell out of that thing.
I saw the movie on Saturday, which was yesterday, and it was also the first day of school holidays. So I thought it would be packed. I had maybe 4 people in the session.
I saw
with
it
me.
Friday night, the day after opening night, the day of school holidays, where school finished early, and also no one.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of people in it.
And I saw it at like 6:30. Like, it should have been packed.
I had a good 20 people in mine.
Really?
I think this is the first time
And-
ever that you've had a fuller cinema than
Yeah, right.
than us.
It's getting weirder. Anytime
Brody
there's-
did bring all 20 people.
Yeah, they're all my children. Anytime I go to one of these cinemas and there's like 20 people or more in them, I get the weirdest fucking looks. Like walking in, because I walk in and all of them are usually like couples or really like old couples, and they look at me and I walk up and then I sit down and I watch the film, and then leaving, I always try to get out there really quickly because people take forever walking down those stairs.
Yeah.
And I just want to hop out of there. And so it's like, I must look like the most annoyed person in the world. Anytime I go into
Which is weird, 'cause that's me.
And I'm like super I got a super angry look on my face, and I sit down, I watch a film, I don't laugh even if it's funny, and then I like quickly hurriedly run out
It's
of
like
the cinema.
you're begrudgingly having fun.
Yeah.
It's like you're
Right.
begrudgingly being made to see movies.
I'm
Well, I
so-
mean, he is, really.
This podcast has had a weird effect on me, guys. This podcast has made me hate films more.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing more and more films at the cinemas, and I'm going to cinemas every single time I go there, and I'm like, oh.
See, the irony is when you...
We've seen like 2 films that I've like probably enjoyed like this
Yeah.
year. I like to imagine that like 3 years down the line, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I'm gonna be like, Avengers 6.
This is the
whatever.
third movie I've liked since we started this podcast
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah, it's called 4 Billboards Outside Heaven.
But I actually enjoyed it.
You
I
enjoyed
thought
it?
it was
Yeah, I figured you'd giggle the whole way
I
through
thought it was fine. Like, it's definitely nothing special. I think it's classic Johnny English, classic Rowan Atkinson. There's nothing new, but it was a good time, and I definitely had a laugh.
Okay,
I had a
all
bit
of the gags were in the
bit of a
trailer.
chuckle.
Yeah,
Not
pretty much
all of them.
most
Not
of
all
them.
of them.
There was one of the bigger gags that actually did make me laugh. That wasn't in any of the trailers, and that was the biggest laugh for me.
Okay,
I'm just glad I
well, we'll
didn't
get into
see
it soon. Lads, you know how every week I put up on Instagram and Twitter what movie we're reviewing, and we get our slicey slices to let us know if they've seen the movie and let us know what they think of the movie.
Yep.
And I always make fun of you when you forget to do that.
And on Instagram, we have no comments.
No comments.
No comments.
Nothing. Nada. Naught.
Nada.
Zero.
We got a few likes. Got a few likes.
Absolutely.
However, on Twitter,
We also have zero. Don't
we also have 0 comments.
We did it.
We did
We made
it.
the big time.
We finally have no one listening to us.
This
Everyone's
might
given
be
up.
our first podcast since we've started that's had nothing. Because even in the first one, I think you mentioned like your mum saw the film,
Yeah.
and she like had
Yeah.
comments on it.
Most of the time, Mum says that she hasn't seen the film, but she thinks I would like it.
Yeah. But still, this is the first one in what 37.
30. This is our 38.
This is the
38,
first
episode
one
38.
in 38 podcasts where we've had no input from anyone else. I think that says a lot about this film.
Cane Dogs, did you get any comments on Facey?
So I forgot to put up... I put up that we were seeing it, but I asked...
You didn't ask.
I asked no questions.
Would you recommend it, and who would you recommend it to? Broadman.
Stop. I hate... So every time Angus does this, he makes eye contact with me, points to me to talk, and then says Broadman. It's very annoying.
I saw this film on Thursday. Who would I recommend it to? I would recommend it like, if you wanted to do a Johnny English night and watch all 3. I wouldn't recommend doing it by yourself because you probably wouldn't have a load of fun. But if you want to grab some friends that at least enjoy that sort of thing, have a night, watch all 3. I guess you could watch that then. Other than that, if you didn't like the first one or the second one, do not watch this one. There's like no saving grace.
It's exactly the same.
This isn't a tied together trilogy, so you could just watch this one without watching the first 2 if you wanted to. But I think the first one's probably the best one.
Yes.
I don't know. I haven't seen it since it came out in 2003.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Cane Dogs.
Yes.
So
Would you recommend it? Who would you recommend it to?
I would recommend this to parents taking their kids.
Yes.
Anyone who really likes the first 2. Or anyone who has nothing else to do on their Friday night and they want maybe a small giggle.
Yeah. Yeah. Agree.
Fair enough.
Probably-
Angus, take it away.
I would recommend this. I think you guys have said it already, but anyone who has a child that really likes fart jokes and the likes, I think this humor isn't highbrow at all.
No, it's not the most intellectually planned humor.
No, but I
You
think
can see the jokes coming so far away.
yeah, if you're a fan of Rowan Atkinson, then
Watch Blackadder.
watch Blackadder. Yes, okay. But also like this, I think
And also
this
Mr.
movie,
Bean, yeah.
this movie is fine, and
There's
I
nothing
think
about
it's-
this movie that's kind of like offensive.
No,
So it's like
definitely.
this isn't gonna like rub anyone the wrong way.
Yeah,
I want to
definitely.
watch this and
it's-
actively hate it. I think some people will just get bored with it.
Yeah.
It's. I think it would be a lot of fun if you had a few mates together.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Let's move on into spoilers, unless we have anything else to say. Any spoiler free?
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day, everyone.
I'm going to say don't have a nice day because I think this podcast works better when sometimes we disagree.
Oh, what a cool sound effect, Angus.
We're now in the spoiler section. You cannot hold us responsible for anything we ruin from now on forever.
Also, to clarify a joke I made last week that Jordan didn't understand, when I said, I hope you like the song, I was referring to the song that Angus always edits in between the normal portion and the spoiler portion.
When I went back and listened to it, make sure that I didn't say anything too offensive. I picked up on that.
Yeah, and it's just like Jordan going, oh, we have to write a song now, and like they just heard a song.
Yeah, I thought Angus would realise your joke and cut it out, but then he didn't.
Classic. All right, spoilers, boys.
Cinema
We're gonna
dicks.
talk about cinema dicks first. Anyone got a dick in your cinema?
I did, but I can't remember what it was, so Brody go first and I'll go next.
Okay.
Just general bad cinema etiquette, as always.
As always.
People on their phones, people talking.
Ugh.
Get out. Go.
Get out.
Jog on your bike.
Go learn how to be a bloody human being.
Okay, I remember what it was. So in my cinema, me and my girlfriend were sitting there just having a lovely
Gluten-free.
chat. The ads were up,
Classic,
the
yep.
lights were on.
Yep.
So in my opinion, that deems it fine for mobile flipping.
Mobile flipping. Yeah. The old Olympic sport of mobile flipping.
Yeah, bottle flipping. It's like that, but no, like flipping through like
The
apps.
stakes are high.
It
Going
would
through.
be quite hard to do in a cinema because you need a mobile, and of course mobiles are the things you hang over cribs for babies, and they kind of like spin
Yes,
around. They have
yeah.
like dangly behind them,
And
and
then
you need
it's-
to take one of them, and
it's-
you need to flip it between two people, or at least two people, as per the Olympic rules.
I'm thinking of different games. Same, the mobile thing on top of the babies thing. But in the version that I play, you just flip it off, which is hard
okay.
to do in the cinema when
Mine
it's
is
dark.
different again.
That's mobile flipping.
Yeah.
The one I'm talking about is mobile flipping.
Ah, right.
So
right.
the one that I had was it's a variation of your game, Brady, but it requires the mobile, but also the child. And you actually have to, in the same way that you have to flip a bottle and get it to stand up, you have to flip the child and get them to land
Fair
on
enough.
the mobile. Anyway, we were sitting in the cinema,
Yes.
flipping through our Facebooks and our.
Flip it,
You know what? We were
flip
just going through our phone, just. Oh no! We were just going through our Facebook, just like liking all the.
You guys have a joint Facebook?
Wait,
Jordan and
Pretty
I.
cute.
couple goals.
Couple goals.
That's what it's called. It's just a picture of us score a
It's
couple
just
goals.
you guys playing soccer.
It's just us flipping babies onto mobiles.
Please continue.
You
Anyway.
and GF in the cinema doing some mobile flipping, one of 3 Olympic sports. Take it away, Jordan.
Anyway, we were sitting there and a message came up on her phone that said, "You look really beautiful tonight." And it was from one of her close friends. And I immediately looked around, being like, well, very clearly they're in the cinema. And they're sitting, her and like my
I
girlfriend.
thought you'd be like, oh, well, very clearly she's cheating on me. And,
No.
So we're through. So a little bit of an announcement on this week's podcast.
Cinema dick,
We
my
broke up.
ex.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, my ex.
Well,
He's got a story.
You and your gluten-free mobile flipping
Yeah.
in the cinema, one of 3 Olympic sports. There's a friend says she's pretty. Go.
Join Facebook account.
So I turn around, her and her boyfriend are sitting directly behind us. I sort of have a bit of a laugh. I'm like, I don't know, maybe they're just guessing they look beautiful tonight. And then her friend sent another picture, and it was like a Snapchat of the back of her head. So I'd never met. I'd met the girl that is my girlfriend's friend, but not her boyfriend. So it was an unplanned, unofficial, awkward double date where we sat in a room right next to each other and watched a movie, but they were in a hurry to get out of the cinema because they had something to do. So I still haven't...
Did you guys get up and sit next to him? Or just
No.
awkwardly?
They just awkwardly stayed behind us. I put my hand...
nice.
I turned around and shook his hand and said,
really fucking
hey, I'm Jordan. And he was like, cool. And then the movie started and then we didn't talk to each other for the movie. And then they got up and left. So anyway, not a cinema dick, just a weird... It was a weird unplanned...
wobbly dick.
A weird unplanned double...
It was a weird
double
wobbly. Listen, tune into the Film Science Podcast for our new segment, Weird Wobblies.
Weird wobblies.
No, well, the thing is because we've been trying to tee up a double date with them, and it's just the thing that, like, our schedule's never quite sort of lined up.
Let us know on Instagram and Facebook if you found this story interesting.
Or good places for double dates.
Savage. Alright, moving on.
Okay, I didn't
Bro,
have...
can you please turn a light on? It's so dark.
Why do you need to
It's
see
an
us?
audio-based medium.
I know,
Jordan.
but I want to be able to see.
I can see you guys fine because you guys are sitting behind a window.
Go on.
Bring in the candles.
I didn't really have a cinema dick. Besides, there was a couple behind me, and the guy, every time Johnny English did something stupid, which was pretty often, he would turn to the girlfriend and be like, that's like what I would do. And it was just that for the whole movie. No, not like a big dick.
So what?
But
Scum, he should be wiped off the face of the earth.
Part in the second movie that I vaguely recollect where Johnny English's character is in a fight on a boat or somewhere, and he actually...
Johnny English's character. Johnny English.
Johnny English. Ron Atkinson's character, Johnny English, is on, like, a pier or a boat, and he's fighting someone, and although he makes a lot of mistakes, he actually adequately fights and beats someone, so you know that he has some skill.
Yeah.
So I always like the idea that he was actually a good trained agent. He's just also very clumsy sometimes, as opposed to being a very bad clumsy person who's fumbled his way through being an agent the whole time.
Fumbled.
Fumbled, yeah. Fumbled.
No. It's just got multiple thumbs flying around.
I've always thought it was fumbled. Is it fumbled?
It's fumbled.
It's fumbled.
I
I've always
swear
thought it
you've...
was fumbled.
No, I
Fumbled
swear
is
you've said fumbled.
It's like a cross between thimble and
Yeah.
fumbled.
Because I'm used to, like,
jeez.
you know, you got to catch a ball and you thumble it, and you know the saying that's
Fumble
like,
it.
you know the saying that's like, I'm all thumbs? I always assumed that was just connected. Is it not?
No.
Oh.
No.
I always assumed that was just a connected thing.
Oh,
You fumbled it because it bounces
just
off your
fumbled
thumb.
it.
Because it bounces off your thumbs and shit.
Nope.
Ah,
Nope.
I shouldn't be teaching. I'm not the right man.
oh, that's amazing.
Fine.
All right.
Amazing.
Most positive thing about the film, cane dogs.
A particular scene where he gets brought in with all of the other sort of older retired agents.
Yeah.
And they're all
Really old.
really no, but not
Really
no.
amazing
really
actors.
amazing
Yeah,
actors,
yeah.
and they're all really great, charming guys, and like you know,
Bloody Dumbledore.
Dumbledore's there, yeah.
like they're all
and
just
Tywin Lannister.
yeah. And like you know, he like takes they're all like you know reminiscing about this cool pen. He takes that whole sort of scene. I thought he takes the pen
That
off.
was a really good
And he's
scene.
like, if I don't put the lid of this pen back on, it will explode. And he takes the lid off, and they all watch, and he says his
Everyone's like,
name, and puts the lid back on. And from then, I'm like, the minute he hands I knew that he was going to
Obviously,
lose
yeah.
the pen. But I just really I thought if this film went along the lines of that scene,
That scene was so
then
good.
I would have been...
Just the way that Johnny English reacted to that. He was just like, he was so in like the right place where he was like, these are the guys that when he was like going through training and everything, he was admiring.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
he's in the same room as them. And it's like, oh, it was such a good scene.
Nice. Broadman, most positive.
You want me to go for mine?
Yeah.
I thought that this film looked pretty good. A lot of the scenes and like the shots and stuff I actually liked. They weren't just the like random most basic of everything. They're actually like decent looking things of like exteriors and stuff that were good looking. Like filmed in these places in like Italy and in England is what a lot of them looked like. And I was actually a little bit proud of this film. for going and doing that stuff instead of just looking like every other basic comedy that there's ever been.
Yeah.
So I like that. And then like the only other scene other than the one that John just discussed that I really enjoyed was the scene where he's in the exosuit and he comes through the window and his little strap gets caught on the window and he walks up and he's talking and you know something's gonna happen and then as soon as he turns off the exosuit he goes and he gets flung out the window. I was so surprised because I thought something like smaller was going to happen.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
going to be that big of a reaction. He gets flung out the window, smashing the window all the way into the lake.
Yeah.
And I thought
Very
that
good.
was just a bit surprising for me, so I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, what about you?
I like that kind of comedy. I think the smaller throwaway lines as well was really good, and like things that you just like kind of picked up on. A great example of it is when they're pretending to be waiters. Oh no, just before they're pretending to be waiters, and one of the waiters is like, "Oh, champagne, monsieur," and he's like, "Ah, dankeschön." Stuff like that, like little bits that like, unless you know, you won't pick up on it. But like, I found that very funny. That, and the other thing that I found very funny was right at the end when he's in the knight's armor, and I thought like the shooting and stuff, that was a bit OTT. But then when he walks up to the helicopter and his head gets like hit with the helicopter blades, it's like ting 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 ting. Yeah,
I was like, how is he not murdered immediately?
Amazing.
I just like there were a bunch of gags that I really liked. I do agree that a lot of the bigger set gags were in the trailer. So definitely go, like, if you haven't seen it already, what are you doing in the spoilers? But also, don't see the trailer if you haven't seen the movie yet.
There was one joke in there, which was another one of those only I laughed at it in the entire cinema.
Which one was it?
And it was when their car like stops in the middle of like the really windy road that's in Italy, I think.
When they run out of petrol.
And they run out of petrol, and then the villain, the female agent, she's like a Russian secret agent, she pulls up next to him and they giving her fake names, and he's like, I can't remember his name, but Ron Atkinson gives a name.
Basil something or other.
Yeah, like Basil something. And then he turns and was the guy's name Boff? Yeah, he goes, "So what's your name?" And he's like, "Colin." And it made me laugh so much, just the way he said Colin, and that it was just a random name that he just came up with, and I thought it was so funny.
And it's so great because all the other names are so like specific, and it's just like Colin,
and he just leant forward and he was like, "Colin." That was so funny.
I think that whole set was good as well.
I do actually like that when they went back to Ron Atkinson's character, he couldn't remember the fake name.
Yeah.
All right, most negative, lads. What didn't we like about the film? K-Dogs, you're biting on the bit.
Look, I think the thing that I hated the most is just the predictability of a lot of these jokes.
Yeah.
Probably the best example that even people who haven't seen this movie will relate to is he gets given at the very beginning like a bottle of pills, and it's a double-sided bottle of pills, and on one end it's the green pills, and on the other end it's the red pills, and it's like one puts you to sleep and one wakes you up a lot. And it's like, oh, I wonder if you'll ever mix those up later in the film. And then later in the film,
they pretty much say that as well.
It's like, oh, I can't. Yeah, it's like only an idiot could get this mixed up. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what the gag's gonna be. And then he's like really tired, and he's like, oh, maybe I'll take a sleeping pill. I'm like, oh, I wonder what'll happen here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
Birdman.
I think that a lot of the bigger gags just ran on a bit too long.
Yeah.
Whereas like the virtual reality gag. And like when they were like storming the boat, everything, it was just a bit. They just hanged on each bit just a bit too long.
Yeah,
where I prefer, instead of having each of the kind of comedic scenes run on a bit longer, I'd have just preferred if they just had more in there. So there wasn't so much stuff that they revealed in the trailer. Yeah, because there were so many jokes that they revealed in the trailer. A lot of they just hanged on jokes, and it was just a little bit of an odd film. It definitely felt like the third film in a series, but in a bad way.
Yeah.
Right?
Like kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel bad way kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like they were just like, well, like, let's do another one.
Anyway, hello? Angus, what is your most negative?
My most negative, I think I agree with you guys that the gags, like at least the big set gags, you could see coming a mile away. Even though you saw them coming a mile away, I did still enjoy them, and I think it's maybe that kind of humor that it kind of sets you up to figure out what's going to happen, almost kind of thing. But I totally agree with that. The other thing that the other thing that I kind of think didn't really fit into place was the beginning and end of the film, he's got like this really good rapport with these kids that he's teaching.
Then it never comes into play at all throughout the film.
And they never kind of come into play. I would have just liked to have seen maybe they come to the rescue or something. And like, so even though maybe he's a failed spy, he's actually an accomplished teacher. Or, you know,
I mean, I would have
something
hated
like
that, but it would have been a better film.
Yeah. I thought it just... They bookmarked the movie, but there wasn't really any point. Like, you could start the movie maybe, 2 minutes in and
Still
5 minutes out kind of thing. Yeah.
Or they could have opened it with a spaceship. True. Reference to our Predators podcast. What I want to say is I think this film misses a mark that I would have really liked to have seen.
Which was?
There was no one named Mark. That's true.
There might have been.
This
is the most British cast in a movie I've ever seen, by the way. Everyone looks so British. What I wanted...
All amazing teeth.
All amazing teeth.
All amazing teeth.
As Angus says with his very horrible,
My very British teeth.
Yeah. All amazing teeth.
What I want to say is...
Slab.
I love...
I'm pretty sure that's in the first one, isn't it?
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure he sings...
Flag. Yeah.
He like sings himself with a tranquilizer and he can't speak. He's like,
you know what? I actually wouldn't mind watching the first one again. It sounds much better than this one.
And then he stings the bad guy and the bad guy's like, yeah, slab.
Anyway. So that's much better than this. That joke alone is better than this whole film. I really like Mr. Bean, and I still sometimes watch it. And the thing that I like about Mr. Bean is, as a kid, the jokes are funny, but as an adult, they're relatable. And the reason it's relatable is because Mr. Bean is basically a character who finds the quickest, most like to him what seems like the most efficient way to do something. And that's what I think is funny.
The way that Rowan Atkin has described
Rowan
Mr.
Atkin.
Bean. Rowan Napkin.
Yeah.
Famous
Roland Napkin.
Roland Napkin.
Roland Atkin.
Yep. The way he explained Mr. Bean is that he has everyday problems, but instead of going to the first solution, he skips the first, second, and third, and then goes for the fourth solution.
Right. But
which is kind of proven in that
like,
the one where he goes and he wants to buy a new frying pan.
Yeah.
And he goes and he picks up a frying pan. He's like humming and hurrying over it. And then he pulls out a fish from his pocket and he puts the fish in the frying pan. Because he's like, oh, yep, it fits.
Or there's one where he goes, there's a Christmas special and he picks up a bauble and he throws it to the ground and it smashes. And then he picks up a cheap one and he throws it to bounce and he's like, what? And he pockets that one.
Yeah.
He's like, this one. But like, what I like is that the problems that you're just like, I wish you could just do that in real life.
Yeah.
Like, I wish you could just solve problems like that. Because some of it seems very efficient.
Hashtag just bean it.
Like, there's a part where he sees a busker and he wants to give the busker money. But he doesn't have any money. So he puts down a napkin next to the busker and dances to the music of the busker. And then when he gets $1, he then picks up the dollar and gives it to
him.
Like, that's great.
Hashtag been there, done that.
And what I really...
Been there.
Been there, done that. And what I really wanted when I heard they were doing John English is I honestly thought it was just Mr. Bean as Bond. And I'm like, I'd love to see Mr. Bean in James Bond scenarios and solving it in the way that Mr. Bean solved problems. And that would have been so much better than what we got, I think. And I would have loved for there to be like, the scenes where he's tied to a chair and there's a laser moving towards his head.
Yeah.
And instead of solving it in the James Bond way of doing it, he finds the Mr. Bean way of doing it. And I just think that character would have been much more interesting to me in comparison to the character of just someone that is dumb and completely just fucks everything up all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a really funny guy.
He's very clever.
I would have liked to see some of that intelligence brought to this movie.
I'm interested to know if he, I don't reckon he had any...
Do you want to look up whether he wrote
whether
writing
he
credits.
Writing, I reckon someone's written this one and they're like, hey, Rowan, do you want to do another Johnny English? And he was like, and they're like, we'll give you like $60 million or whatever. And he was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, right. I mean, I would.
Yeah,
I don't do it.
Anyone would. If you don't, then you gotta be out of your mind.
One thing I was going to say about the film is that I think it would have been better, the dynamic would have been better if Johnny English was the only buffoon, but there was quite a lot of buffoonery from the other characters as well.
He hasn't got a writing credit. So he didn't write any of these jokes.
Oh. So
he might have improved upon
probably
them.
Improvised
but still.
Probably had in the script Rowan Atkinson do improv. Or something
like that.
So in the film, I think it would have been better if Johnny English was the only buffoon and everyone else was still quite realistic and quite normal, but I got the sense that every character was dumb in there, and I think it doesn't.
And
it
also
kind of
just making
dulled it down a bit.
Johnny English was too dumb. Right?
Yeah.
It was like he's still meant to be a trained agent. I'd still
That's
like
what I liked
if,
about the second one, is he had some intelligence to it.
Yeah, because in this one he kind of just did stuff and
Yeah.
then things and it was like not a good choice.
You know-
if he was making a good choice, but then he just accidentally messed up, and then still resulted in success.
The problem that we have here is the same problem I have with Ant-Man 2, which is that their main character that's meant to be the hero is unrecognizable of any heroic qualities whatsoever at this point.
All right. I think that's pretty much it for this film. There's not really much to dive into.
No,
I think from what
this
we said.
This wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
When the films are very meh or middle ground, there's not much to talk about. You can't talk about amazingly good things.
It's fine. Go see it. Maybe not at the
things.
movies, but it's
This could have been a straight to DVD movie.
Yeah.
K-Dogs, do you have any idea on how to finish off this pod?
I was thinking.
Ooh,
me,
Go for it.
Dogs.
Yeah.
So as we're trying to think of a theme for the end of this podcast, I'm just gonna have some little muffins that we got. Do you guys like muffins?
Yes.
You want a muffin?
Check me a muffin.
I don't want to throw it.
No, throw an individual muffin.
Okay. So, if you guys want to catch some more film slice, we've got a whole back catalogue.
Oh, you ate the last of the little muffins.
Well, I have a big one. I'll break it in half. So, we've got a back catalogue. It goes back 37 more episodes than this one. You'll have... some of the other episodes are better than this one.
I'd say a solid 20 are better than this one.
But this one's alright. Yeah, take a listen to some of the other ones. Check us out. Film Slice Pod and everything.
Podcast.
Awesome. Send in your questions that you need advice for.
That you need a device for?
Yeah, that you need advice for. Yeah. So if you have a question like, how do I make toast? You need a toaster. That's a question. That's a question you need a device for.
Well, that's how we ended that one. You've been listening to the Film Slice Podcast.
Thank you. If you've made it this far,
if you made it this far,
good on you.
Cheers.
If you want to find
You've
us,
done well.
Cheers, Connor.
You can. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and iTunes and SoundCloud and YouTube.
All that jazz.
All right.
We'll see you next week when we make more sense.
Film Slice crew out.